for another episode of Outdoors People. First, there's me, CW Getz, and her, Maya Marzaki. Good evening. It's Wednesday, March 26, 2025. We have a 56 degrees Fahrenheit sunny, beautiful day here in north central Illinois. We had a little cool start today. It was like 35 degrees. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be a cold day, but it actually shaped up really, really well. Spent most of the day outside today helping a friend. So 56 degrees, that for the rest of the world converts to 14 degrees Celsius for the rest of the world. And I'm going to ask our guest, who is from Hungary, when we bring her on, what her temperature is over there today. We talked about that a little before the show, which is cool. She knows Fahrenheit, which is like impressive. So let's meet tonight's guest. Okay, and by the way, I'm flying solo tonight, kids. So bear with me. I hope I can do this without too many blunders. Here we go. All righty. 32-year-old Hungarian slalom kayaker and canoeist Sara Seprenyi grew up in Szeged, Hungary, and in the Republic of Slovenia. In college, she studied sports management and kayak and coach education. Sara's list of accomplishments include 2015 licensed kayak and canoe coach, 2018 sports manager BSc, 2019 Slovenian wild water rescue guide, as well as Slovenian kayak and raft guide, 2023 licensed slalom kayak and canoe coach, 2024 ICF Wish program coach, 2025 Slalom Development Coordinator for the Hungarian Canoe Federation. Sara's career achievements and awards include third place in sprint kayak at the 2012 Universities World Championships in Russia, seventh place in sprint kayak at the 2014 Senior European Championship in Germany, ninth place in sprint kayak at the 2015 Senior World Cup in Copenhagen, Denmark, first place in downriver kayak at the 2017 Wild Water European Cup in Bosnia, second place in downriver at the 2017 Mad River Race in China, third place in downriver at the 2018 Mad River Race in China, 19th place in slalom at the 2020 Slalom World Cup in Slovenia, and first place in downriver at the 2024 Mad River Race in China. Sara was responsible for initiating the slalom program in Hungary. She also organized the first Hungarian slalom race, which took place in September of 2024. There are now 10 clubs in Hungary that will be competing in the European Youth Olympic Festival and at the Junior European Championships this year. There's a slalom coach education program at the University of Budapest in the works, and the first Hungarian Slalom Wild Water Kids course, levels 1 and 2, beginning in May. And lastly, the first Hungarian Championships will take place on July 27th, 2025. And with that, welcome to the show, Sara.
Hi, guys.
How you doing? Hey, how bad did I do with those names? Was it terrible, or did I do okay?
No, it was all right.
Really?
Yeah.
Good. I didn't kill any of them too badly. That's good. Yeah. How's your weather over there in Hungary, by the way?
It's about 10 Celsius, which is 50 Fahrenheit. So it's middle of the night, but pretty clear and no rain.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And you're not in. Are you in Budapest, or you're
No, I'm in Györ. It's in north of Hungary,
okay?
closer to Slovakia.
And I think that okay, all right. And I wasn't sure if that told me that or not here, but yes, very good. So that's for, and I'm impressed that you know Fahrenheit. That's awesome. So
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. And I have to go off of a chart here, a conversion chart. You probably got all this memorized, I'm sure, right? So very good. Well, hey, let's start out, and I'm going to tell you something. I did a little homework. I really did this time. I looked up the word because I didn't know. Most people probably know this, and I don't. The word slalom, SLALOM, is a Norwegian word, and I'm sure you knew that, right?
Yeah.
That term from Norway came 1920s, and it literally means sloping track. Sloping track, and I hope I'm not the only one that didn't know that, but I could be. You never know. All right, well, let's jump right in here. Tell us about growing up in Hungary and how you got started slalom kayaking, because as I understand it, Hungary has mostly flat water. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's correct. We have not really high mountains, but I also started on flat water and I paddled 15 years until I had to stop my career. But I wasn't done yet. I wanted to do something extreme, something more wild. So I tried out also wakeboarding and parachuting and do some crazy stuff. And whitewater kayaking was also on my bucket list. I was texting to a guy called Marcel Potočny. I saw him in an article that he used to race for Hungary, but he's originally from Slovakia. And by texting like, hey, can I just try also slalom kayaking? And he said, yeah, sure, come to the club, I will show it. And I tried it out, but I really, really enjoyed. I loved the challenge. It was super fun. So ever since I'm paddling in slalom.
So you just fell in love with it like automatically, like right off
Yeah,
the, yeah. I mean, and that's kind of cool because once you do that and you're like, hey, you know what? It's love at first sight, if you will. You
yeah,
really have something, yeah, that you know is meant for you. That's pretty cool. Um, and so in Hungary is mostly flat water.
yeah,
That's
correct.
unusual that, yeah, the slalom thing, was available to you like that, right? I'm guessing anyway.
Yeah, it required a lot of traveling. I was also living abroad afterwards when I took it a little bit more serious. I was living a lot in Slovenia or in Australia as well because I wanted to do this passion and go as high as possible in the career.
Well, did you now at that point? Let me ask you a question. Be honest with me. Did you say, something? I am going to be the very best slalom kayaker in all of Hungary. I am going to go out and win medals. I am going to be better than so many people. Did you do that? You have that fire in you, or is it just like, nah, I'm just going to do this and whatever happens, happens?
No, actually, I wanted to go to the Olympics. So I had these high goals. I saw videos about athletes on the Olympics, and I really, really wanted to do it. Of course, I wanted to be the best in Hungary, but there's not many athletes, so it wasn't so hard. But I had really high goals, and I wanted to take medals and results, um, and go as far as possible, of
Really?
course.
So you really pushed yourself.
Yes.
And are you hard on yourself? Are you like, hey, man, you know what? Man, I got to do better. I got to, are you like that, or are you pretty forgiving?
Yes, no, I was pretty hard on myself. I was trying on really hard courses in rivers directly on the first year. You're supposed to go step by step on baby courses, easy water, and I did not.
You
I
didn't do
go
that.
on the Yeah, I did on the biggest course, the biggest drops. I went on down in Slovenia and Bratislava. I hurt myself pretty badly. I
Yeah.
dislocated shoulder.
Oh,
So
nice,
I not
nice.
recommend this for everybody, but I had my goals. I wanted to race on the European and World Championship already on the first year. So I just went for it and go down on every crazy rapid which was possible.
If you had it to do again, would you do it the same exact way, or would you go, no, I'm not going to do that again. I'll do it this way, the way I'm supposed to, the baby steps.
Maybe I would be smarter with my choices in the beginning, at least a bit easier courses, meaning of my shoulders.
How fun is a separated shoulder, right? I mean, right? That's not gotta be.
It's really painful. I'm telling you, it's not fun. But yeah, definitely, I did not regret to start slalom. I met with so many people all over the world. I traveled around the world. It's amazing, and it's like a small family. Everybody helping, and I really enjoy the company of the other athletes. So definitely, I would pedal again. I would start again if I have to, but maybe a little bit easier rapids in the beginning would be my smarter choice.
Well, there you go. Well, hindsight is 2020. They say it should be anyway. Well, so that brings up an interesting question here. You compete. You all compete together, and I'm sure, as with any competition, sometimes it gets a little heated, I guess, for lack of a better word. But in the end, are you all kind of a big family when it was all said and done?
Yes, of course. On the racing course, we are a bit nervous before the race, or in kayak cross, we competing together and beating each other up a bit, but after the race all together we are friends. Many times before the competitions we go for dinner. All athletes from different nations come together and we eat together or have a coffee, have a beer.
Really?
And yeah, and on while war it's really important to help each other, because if something goes wrong, like your shoulder pops out, then you really depend on the people on the water. So even an Olympic champion would leave the training and help you to get out. So that's which really, like, I really enjoy this community, and they helping, be traveling sometimes together. Smaller nations are living in the same accommodation. So it's like a family.
And that's really what it's supposed to be like anyway. I mean, the sportsmanship, all that stuff. Oh, that's good to hear. I mean, it really is. Because sometimes I think, I can tell you, I've watched a number of hockey games where people didn't look like the best of friends. So we just had one reason when I'm not going to bring up what it is because it was a heated one. But yeah. When and where, this is like a little history question for you. When and where did slalom kayaking become a sport?
In 1933, in Switzerland, it started as an alternative of alpine slalom skiing as a summer fun. And ever since, there is slalom all over the world. Basically started in Europe.
Okay, interesting. And then and I'm just going to jump around here. When was the first slalom kayaking championship competition held? So when was the first championship competition?
It was in 1949 in Ghent, same in Switzerland. So it was pretty soon afterwards.
So Switzerland is the king of slalom kayaking, really, right there. Now, here's one. What year did slalom kayaking become an Olympic event?
That's a big one. Yeah, in 1972, it was the first time on München Olympics. And ever since it became really famous, and it was the second most watched sport on the Olympics in Paris. Yes, after athletics.
That's impressive. I did not know that. You know what? And that was the year that I think I remember Olga Korbut was in the Olympics. The Russian gymnast, I believe. That was the year. But yeah. That was a good year for Olympics, man. I remember watching the whole thing. And I think maybe that was the first year I watched the whole thing. I mean, I was a little kid. I mean, the Olympics. Oh, okay.
I wasn't alive.
Well, I'm a little old. So yeah, that was. All right. Tell us about the other styles or disciplines of kayaking that you do, and explain the differences between each of them, if you could.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
I do slalom, downriver, and kayak cross as well. Slalom is an Olympic sport. It's a really technical and challenging sport on white water. So meanwhile, you're fighting with the waves and stoppers. You have to negotiate 18 to 25 gates, upstream and downstream as well. And if you touch one gate, you get 2 second penalty. And if you miss a gate, you get 50-second penalty for it.
I was just going to ask you, what is the object of that? I mean, you go around them or you go through them, but you cannot touch one of those.
Yeah.
Really?
So on the downstream gates, you go straight down. And on the upstream gates, you go around and pedal against the water a bit.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go. You go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, sure. The kayak cross is the new Olympic discipline. It was started in 2015, but it was first time in Paris Olympics. It was really, really popular. It's basically fighting in plastic boats, 4 athletes competing together, and you jump off a ramp, and then you have to negotiate inflatable gates, which you actually can punch it. And there's also upstream and downstream gates, and then you have to do a 360-degree Eskimo roll as well and fight for the spots. So it's really interesting to watch, but there's actually maybe quite a few injuries happening between.
Wow.
And then we have downriver racing, which is more like a speedy sport. You go pretty much straight down on the river as fast as you can, of course, avoiding the rocks. And also there's sprint and long distance, so classic discipline, and try to fight with the waves.
Wow. That's cool. You would do so much in this sport. Off the wall, I get a question. So this goes back to what you said earlier about the dislocated shoulder. Yeah. Is that the worst? I mean, because you've done a lot of paddling, and some of this stuff looks, like dangerous. Right?
Yeah, it's an extreme sport. All of them actually, which is included in whitewater. But that's why it's make it fun, no? You need adrenaline, you need the bigger challenge and bigger waves until you get injured and a little bit more reserved, and then you go again.
There you go. Because if it were easy and it were no challenge, it wouldn't be any fun, would it? Or no danger.
Yeah, I'm wired like this way.
Absolutely. So my question was, what is the worst injury that you sustained? Was it the separated shoulder, or was there something else, or
For me, it was dislocated shoulder was the most painful and the longest to recover. I got some teared muscles also in the shoulder and the rotator cuff in the beginning, but those are healing a bit faster. And I got some concussion hitting my head under the water.
Wow.
But it wasn't that bad. The shoulder was the worst, definitely.
Shoulder was, and I know about rotator cuff injury because I've had those, not one, but 4 times.
Yeah.
And so what happened that made you, that caused your shoulder dislocation?
We were paddling on the flooded river. Actually, it was autumn time, and I was kind of riding a stopper, and I didn't want to flip because it was super cold. So I really pushed hard when the water tried to flip me, and then and the water was much stronger than I was, so it was pretty hard one. I was lucky because it popped back directly afterwards, but it was really painful experience, and it took me 1 year until I could come back.
Really?
I was racing directly, so maybe I didn't take enough time to recover. But for 1 year, I had pain all the time in my shoulders.
You were able to paddle some in that year,
Yeah.
or you just some?
Yeah, no, I paddled after 2 weeks directly. So it was a bit hard. I had a competition. I didn't want to miss it. I was fully taped with kinesio tape,
Oh
You
wow!
try to hold together it. But yeah, I did not recommend to anybody to
Still hurt,
paddle
I'm sure.
like that.
God.
No.
Like tears running down your eyes as you're
Yeah,
paddling.
I was crying all the time.
I wonder if any of those did you get any pictures of that going? Oh, here's the look of what is it? The look of pain or agony in your. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that would be something. Let me ask you, what was the most memorable? And we got the worst, that you went through. What was the most? I wouldn't say memorable, but what was your best memories when you were competing? The best time, the best memory you have.
That's a hard one.
I'm throwing these off the wall to you because you weren't prepared. I didn't prepare you for any of these questions here. But this is
No,
what the
that's
beautiful
right.
thing is about live is you can okay, let's throw her something she's not expecting. But yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the last China race was amazing. We had
Really?
such a good company there, good friends, and we really enjoyed the racing there. And that was massive rivers which we paddled. But I think Krakow, the European Games, was one of my favorites
Okay.
because it was such an experience, like a mini Olympics. And it was, when you're wearing the national suits and all the athletes are over there and preparing. And I had kind of good runs on the heats and then afterwards. So I enjoyed racing there as well.
And both of those were first place. You were first place in both of those competitions, if I'm right. Yeah.
In China, yes.
How big a difference does equipment make, Sarah? Is it? I mean, would you say it's 50-50? It's 50%, ability, and it's 50% equipment, or what would you say?
Definitely you need to train a lot, so you can't blame your boat for not getting the
Good answer.
result. But you need good equipment for sure. That's why I think slalomers every year or every 2 year professional athletes getting a new boat is not scratch too much, you not lose too much time, it's not get heavier if you repair it.
Oh yeah.
So it can be quite expensive as a professional athlete to buy every time new equipment, more updated boats, faster boats. So yeah.
And does the slightest amount of weight really matter that much? Like when a boat is repaired?
Yeah, when you lose by 0.01 seconds, yes,
Yeah,
it
I guess it
can
will.
be
Oh my
your
gosh!
boat as well.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it would make that big of a difference, impact
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah, there was some races. I think the final, which includes 10 athletes, was just divided by 2 seconds. So it is counts everything.
Wow, wow. I had no idea. So I learned a lot. I'm learning a lot in this episode. I love this. More serious side here. What prevented you from competing in the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris? What happened there?
Yeah, it was my long time dream to go to the Olympics, but I always fall into this never-ending circle, which most of the athletes can be. So slalom in Hungary wasn't supported, so I have to work 8 hours a day just to pay for the competitions, trainings, coaches, equipment, boats, and I cannot be just that little bit missing out, which the others could do. Like professional athletes, they spend 1 month before in training camp on the qualification or championship course, and I couldn't afford it. After 2020, the Corona times, it was really hard to find sponsors and somebody who would support my journey. Um, just that I don't have to work as much and I can train more. And yeah, I just missed out by a bit, and it was quite a painful experience. It was hard to take, but I'm hoping with this new program, the kids will get a chance, which I never had before. So I hope they don't have to face this thing.
Yeah, that's wow, and that's too bad. Yeah, and I think, I mean, the whole thing, I think it helps people, once you explain that, understand better of what it means to be in a competition like that. You know, if you are there in the Olympics, and it really takes a lot, and maybe not everybody struggles like that, but I think most people, it is a struggle. It's a lot of work. And there's a lot of,
Yes,
yeah. What do you think?
small nations, especially when there's not support behind you, you sacrifice a lot. You go training at 5 a.m. before work and after work as well, and then you happy just to pay for a new boat or just have a training camp before the races. So it can be super hard and sometimes feels like you can't change things. So it's really hard to get out of this circle.
You ever go through and you're in training, and you're like, what the hell am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? I'm like, I'm not, I mean, I suppose you go through all kinds of, the up and down
Yeah.
roller
Yeah, and
coaster.
especially early mornings when you are cold on the water, sitting alone, the coach is not coming because it's too early and they have training at maybe 10 a.m. And then you are like, do I really have to go through the biggest stoppers and holes, or maybe I can take it easy a little bit this
Yeah,
morning?
yeah, right. And who's going to know?
Yeah, so
Nobody knows. And you're really, at that point, you're just cheating yourself. I mean, you know that, everybody knows that,
yeah,
but but I'm sure that puts you in kind of um, probably a foul mood. Probably not. I'm not going to be smiley when the coach does arrive. Yeah, right. I'm guessing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. um, Tell us about your involvement with the International Canoe Federation.
So when I started paddling in slalom, the International Canoe Federation put me in their talent identification program. So
Mhm.
they helped me to go some training camps and helped me with coaching just before the World Championships. So it was really good community over there, a lot of athletes from small nations. And then later on, they put me in the women high performance coaching program, which was 2 years. And after finishing it, it helped me to make connections also in Hungary and start my program.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, was there any question what you were going to do after you stopped competing? I mean, you kind of knew this all along, didn't you? Wanted to be and you wanted to stay
Yeah,
involved in the sport, I'm sure.
I always wanted to coaching or being involved with slalom because I really enjoy, and as I said before, the community is amazing. So I can't imagine myself sitting in an office and just do something boring. And I think it's a good thing. Maybe not the most paid job, but uh,
Well,
and
yeah.
it's nice to work with kids and you see their improvements and every day what they learn and how happy they are. So it's really giving me back.
You know, and the thing is, you can have a career or you can have a job. I mean, in either way, at the end of the day, the most important thing is, did you enjoy yourself? Do you enjoy your life?
Yeah,
It's like, people base their, I had a great day. I made a lot of money today. To me, that's fine.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but I think when you're like yourself, your life is way more meaningful when you enjoy
Yes.
what you're doing. Yeah, and you're fulfilling other people's lives. These young paddlers. So I think, hats off to you. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Um, you're now the Slalom Development Coordinator for the Hungarian Canoe Federation. So, exactly, like what responsibilities are involved with that role?
It's pretty complex job. I'm not just coaching the little ones, but I also making education program for the coaches and for the judges as well. And we building a course on north of Hungary, as well as I do organizing the competitions and finding sponsors and supporters. So basically building up the whole system from zero.
You are the whole program, basically.
Yes, pretty
That's
much.
what I've gathered.
Right now, yeah.
I mean, what they do? They give you a pad of paper and a pen, and then go, and here you go. Just make the whole thing up as you go. Wow.
Yeah, go for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope your paycheck is with a lot of zeros at the end, man. You know that.
Not really.
Oh my gosh. I think that's fantastic. And very fascinating too. So what's been the biggest challenge to you so far with this job?
Firstly, I had to learn how to talk with politicians,
Oh,
which was a new thing for me, especially as a female, younger one. It's sometimes not easy, you
I'll
know?
bet. I'll just bet. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a challenge, and as well as paperwork. I'd never know that it's so hard to build a course. I thought we put up on the gates and it's done, and I don't need these permissions, waiting for green ones, waiting for the government, and so on. It's taking months. I can't wait.
I hate all that red tape, and we call that red tape. I'm sure you probably do too. But is it
Yeah.
you find it kind of at some point is going, this is so redundant, really
Yeah, I'm like,
ridiculous.
I'm just climbing on a tree. I put the gate up, whatever.
There you go, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most frustrating part of that though? Probably that.
Yeah, waiting, and then sitting on meetings and nothing happening, which is, I think, could be way shorter time to solve this issue, but
Oh,
I
what
don't
would
know,
you
everybody
change?
feels important. The whole system.
I'm just start over. Let's just start over. Yeah.
Just for the,
Yeah, let's just
yeah.
start from scratch. I mean, because why do they have to? What is it that you have to wait so long for some of these decisions? Is it really? I mean, is it a very political thing? I mean, I understand to a degree,
Yeah,
but
it is also, and the government decide about all the water
okay,
in Hungary. So we
Mhm.
need to get permission to use this part, and then we need to make agreement with the locals, and then we need to wait for some permission because it's a national park. So they checking all the fishes and bugs and birds over there if it's
Yeah,
good enough for them. But it's a short place, so it's a small place. Sorry, it's 120-meter long and above a level of flat water, so altogether 300-meter. And it's near a road, so I'm not talking about the whole national park, but
yeah,
just a small place which we can use. But this is the only place where we can put the slalom course in Hungary, so it would be great if we finish the course.
yeah. And do you find that being a celebrity, and you are a celebrity. I mean, you got here. Look, I mean, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at another one here. You've got a list of credentials. I mean, or credits, just a mile long. Do you find that, or do you think that helps, or do you say, yeah, that wouldn't make any difference, or do you think
Yes,
someone else? Yeah,
it can help sometimes, like perhaps there was an interview with the International Canoe Federation just a couple of weeks back, and then people read it all over the world, and then we got some. Actually, today I went to Bratislava. The Slovak team sent us some used boats, which I can
I saw
give it
that
to the
post
clubs.
on on
Yeah,
Instagram, wasn't it? And I'm thinking, wow, there's a
yeah.
ton of boats on there. That's what
I
that
was
was.
super stoked, yeah, because 10 Club want to start, but I have no boats to give them. So when the Slovaks called me, "Oh, we see your post," I'm like, "Yeah, we started the program, but I don't have boats to give them." And they're like, "Well, we have old boats which we're not using anymore. You can take them." So
That's so
sometimes
true.
it's helping with the media. Yeah.
Old boats are better than no boats, right? So
Yeah, for kids starting somewhere, it's perfect.
absolutely, absolutely. That's and good for you. I'm extremely happy. I think I gave you a thumbs up or a like or whatever it is on social media, but I
Yeah.
wasn't quite sure what that was, and now I understand. And good for you, and good for those guys that all of you. I think that's awesome. Um, let's talk boats for a second because I'm curious. What do these slalom kayaks weigh? Okay, so you're going to tell me in kilograms, or was it kilograms?
Yeah, kilograms.
How many? Okay, how does that convert to pounds? Here, you tell me kilograms. I'm going to use my trusty iPhone and convert
Okay.
that. So
It's 9 kilograms. The
9
official,
kilograms. Okay.
yeah.
You probably have a chart right in front of you, don't you? 9 kg. Oh, here we go. Convert 9 kilograms. Okay. This is perfect. Didn't do what I wanted to do. From kilograms to pounds. Calculate. Here we go. And it comes up to, why is it not telling me? Oh, here it is. 19.841604 infinitive. No, I mean that. 19.84 pounds. That's incredibly light.
Yeah, it is, but pretty massive. It can take a lot of it. So.
I thought my solo, Yellowstone solo at like 22 pounds, 23 pounds was light. But yeah, I mean, this is even less. That's impressive. And now this is all, I'm guessing Kevlar, correct?
Carbon and carbon
fiber?
Kevlar.
Okay.
Together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Kevlar. Interesting. How long are these boats?
3.5 meter, the official.
So 3.5. There we go to the conversion again. 3.5. So 3 meters is approximately 9 feet. So maybe 10, 12, something like that. 11, 12 feet, somewhere.
Yeah.
Feet. Okay.
Yeah. Just longer than a surf boat if you want to fit it in
there you go.
airplane.
There you go. Do you like traveling? Do you like traveling
Yes.
to other countries to compete? Is it a pain in the Labanza going through the airport? Anything like that? Have them search your luggage, make it,
I do enjoy to see new countries. I like to travel, but to travel with equipment, that's another thing. I drove all over Europe. I think I drove the longest was 24 hours to Spain. Wow. Just that they're not breaking my boat, because when I traveled to London just for the Olympic qualification, they cracked my new boat. So I was super unhappy. It cost me a lot. And yeah, you carry your boat down to until the plane, you put it on, and then they can't manage to take it just safely out of it. So
and they beat the hell out of it after you give it to them.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you do when you get to a competition and your boat is damaged?
I was lucky enough that an Italian girl gave me her second boat, so I raced in a spare boat, and it was, tricky though, because it was a new boat. You get
not
used
your
to
boat.
it, but
yeah,
no, it's not your boat. You need a month to get used to a boat. So
were you in a state of panic at that point and going, what in the hell am I going to do?
Yeah, I was sitting and crying in one spot, looking at my boat. How and why really?
and the airlines didn't pay for that, or they did pay for it?
They did a year after suing them, but it didn't help me on the race. No, not at all.
That was the least important part, I'm sure, at that moment. Wow. And I'm sure that affected your race a lot. The fact that it wasn't your boat and you were upset and all that kind of good stuff. So, and where was that at? Yeah. That was where?
It was in London.
London.
Yeah.
Wow. Bad things happen in London. I've heard some stories. No, I made that up. But I did have heard that, but I don't want to diss London. No, but that's interesting. And do you now so you can take them with you on the airplane? You don't check that. I mean, how do you check that stuff? Because I see sports teams going, but what do you do? It doesn't check like luggage, does it?
Yes, it's a sport equipment, and some companies like Ryanair, EasyJet, or I don't know if I can say, some
you can say
making them. Yeah, but not all the companies, because they super fragile, of course, and they slightly longer than a surfboard, so they don't like it.
Oh,
but yeah, when I was traveling to Australia, I had to cut it to half that they fitted in, and I had to put together in Australia. Yeah.
Really?
That's an interesting one.
Holy cow. No, let's say that again. You had to cut it in half
Yeah.
and reassemble it. How do you do that?
I was measuring it that it's exactly on a nice spot. I cut it with a flex and it was a clean cut. And then I took carbon Kevlar with me and epoxy. And I was working 2 days that I put together, but definitely it was heavier than
There you go.
before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't fit. But after that, I just left the boat there and
Did
sell
you
it.
really?
And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I'm not
You just keep it
traveling
here.
back with it.
That's
Yeah.
funny. And those boats aren't
Yeah.
cheap, I'm sure, right? They're not
Oh,
cheap.
yeah, it's 2,000 euros, so quite expensive to
Wow.
buy, but yeah.
That's kind of the price that you'd expect to pay for, a kayaker of that type or a boat of that type here in the States. So that's interesting. Yeah, I was just curious about your boats and how, I kind of thought, well, maybe they crate them. When I say crate them, they build a wooden frame and the boat sits inside with some foam. But they don't do that, do they? They treat them as just
Mm,
regular luggage.
they have a mold to put it in,
Oh, they do.
and there are
Okay.
different sizes for
Okay.
athletes,
All right.
and yeah, they do it by hand because it's pretty special boat, so there's no manufacturer for it.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. I'm sorry to go off course here, but anyway,
No
um,
worries.
no. Well, you recently won. Let's shift gears here. You recently won a very challenging race, the one we talked about in China called the Mad River Race. And by the way,
Yeah.
I learned sometime after I bought a Mad River brand canoe where that came from, and I'm like, oh, there was a Mad River. So anyway, I live in a shoebox. I swear. So anyway, you won this race. Okay. I just want to know, what was that experience like for you? I mean, was that kind of something where this was a big race, a big deal? Am I right?
Yeah, it was pretty scary. Those rivers are massive in the Himalayas,
Wow.
2,000 cubics per second, and wild water 5. So it is pretty challenging. I was super happy that I managed. I was lucky enough because it was my third time there, so I know that I have to paddle really, really hard if I want to make it on a good line. But others got pretty bad swimming. My friend was under the water for minutes, so
Whoa.
yeah, I was really scared to do the race,
Wow.
but at the end, it turned out really good for me.
So being there before, you kind of got you know that river a little bit, and each time you
Yeah,
know it a little bit better. Did that matter? I mean, because I'm sure it's
yeah,
always being wild water. It's always different, but it does matter.
yeah, it does matter. The features, the bigger ones, the lines, better. So that's why actually athletes going to the competitions before that they
Yeah.
can get used to the course and the water.
Yeah. Hey, before we're going to go look at some pictures here, but I'm going to ask you, when you are in a competition and somebody is under the water, like you just described, what do you do? And are you trained? I'm sure you are, to, hey, listen, if I see something like this or this is how we react. Is there something like that in place?
Yes, also I have the rescue license,
Okay.
so I do this also.
Yeah.
If somebody's underwater, you leave everything what you do up to that time, and then it's the most important that people lives, that they survive. So you just try to help. On the competition is a bit easier because you have rescuer on the shore.
Okay.
So if
Sure.
they not manage to help, then of course I jump in. It's easier from the boat, but if it's on training, there's nobody. You are responsible for that
You are
person.
it. Yeah. Wow. I mean, and I'm sure that's happened during competitions
Yeah,
that you've been involved. Yeah, that's kind of
yeah,
scary. A lot.
yeah. It is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sarah, appreciate those questions, and we got a couple more for you. But right now, let's look at some photos. And I'm gonna my engineering skills here. I'm gonna black you out. I'm just gonna put these up, and you tell us a little bit about them, if you would, please. Here we go. Okay. What are you looking at here?
Yes, so this was in Slovenia, in Tacen, and this is kayak cross, the roll zone. You get this bar and you basically have to roll underneath, do a 360 turn,
Wow.
and come up on the other side.
How far is that? I mean, how far is that above the water, surface of the water?
Um, it's just about the height of your waist,
Oh,
so
wow.
you have no other choice but going underneath.
Okay. Interesting. And this is an awesome picture, by the way. I don't know who took this for you,
Thanks.
but yeah, this would be
Yes,
like on the cover of some cool magazine, like Sports Illustrated or something.
yeah, it was on some magazines. Yeah, it was on the European Games in Krakow.
There you go.
So the Olympic team was there, and it was a professional who made this picture.
Now, is this boat? What is this boat made of? Because it looks like plastic. It looks like a power.
Now, this one is the carbon Kevlar boat. This is for
Really?
slalom, and kayak cross is from plastic. But actually, this boat was broken before the World Championships.
Oh,
So
wow.
this pretty one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very nice looking boat, by the way.
Thanks. This is also in Tacen in Slovenia. It was after the jump off the ramp going to the stream. And I think it sees on my face that it was pretty cold that day.
Well, it either looks like that or you're very intent. You're just very focused on what you're doing there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And that almost looks like one of the play boats that we have here that we use.
Yes, this is the plastic boat. It's 18 kilograms, but specially made for kayak cross, so the end of it is really nice.
Okay, we didn't hear you that well. Let's try it again here. Okay, there you go. Sorry, we didn't hear it. That was a little distant.
Sorry, my bad. So this boat's the end is really nice because it's similar to slalom boats. So it's go really underneath the water and you can turn in mud spots.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a nice boat. Right. This is the look of determination that I was just saying. You look very determined here. Or maybe is this the cold water one?
It was in summer, but I have stupid faces all over the competition. I don't know, focusing really hard at breathing. This is in Krakow. It was a World Cup. And I do love that course because they have amazing waves and stoppers. I like to race there. I think it was last year. And yeah, this is my recent boat after the broken one, which I got actually from the Italian girl, Steffi Horn.
Oh,
so
the one that you got to use, you bought it?
Yeah, I get to use her boat, and afterwards I bought it. So
cool.
Ever since I'm racing in this one, I got used to this now, and yeah, I'm making stupid faces when I'm focusing on the gates.
Well, trust me, I think everybody who competes makes the determined
the struggle is real.
Yeah, exactly. You can't fake that. Is that paddle? Those paddles are carbon fiber too, I'm sure, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's a metal tip at the end, so you can punch the rocks with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I can kind of look at them at the end here. You can't see the pointer. Can you see the pointer on your end here, the little hand? Okay.
Not really.
Yeah. Cool. Here we go.
This was a National Geographic photography. We were shooting a commercial for National Geographic in Slovenia. They have beautiful rivers. And this is Savinja River. And I don't know, we shoot this picture like 50 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was really done by the day.
Oh,
I
wow.
was hungry and tired, but actually it's a nice video and we had a really nice place to paddle. We jumped some waterfalls with these plastic boats and yeah, there was a guy and me and then we paddled around. I do got electrochutes by climbing over on a fence.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
It
Well,
was
and you know what? So, and how many hours did it take for this shoot, you're saying?
12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So it was
What?
really long. I think we started at 4 a.m. and we waited for the first
Yeah.
sunlight, yeah, and it was really long. I think I jumped the waterfall like 10 times and then drive the canyon like 12 times until they
Wow.
get and I always had the stupid face, of course, so they always like, can you do it again just now? It's smiling. And I'm like, yeah, but it's pretty hard, when you do the
So
paddling.
yeah, exactly. They want everything to just so, I suppose, when you're doing a magazine cover, but man, I would think that, they could probably do that before, in a shorter time than 8 hours. But hey, I don't know. I'm not a professional photographer, so
I don't know.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, they were like, can you splash like the guy did on the waterfall? I'm like, well, he's like 30 kilo heavier than me. Of course he make a bigger splash than I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, no, I can't do that. Thank you. Yeah. I love
No.
it. All right. What do we got here? This is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we went to the school and we were taking some slalom boats over there and telling the children about the whole sport. I showed them some videos and they can sit in, try the equipment on. So like, promotion for the whole program here in
Okay.
Györ.
I'm sure at some point you thought, boy, you probably thought, man, I wish I had these types of things or this type of opportunity when I was first starting. It would have made things a lot easier.
Yeah.
You'd have been in it sooner, younger. I mean, am I right about that or no?
Yeah, if I know that there is whitewater kayaking before and it's possible when I was younger, I would definitely do it and probably I would have better chances, but you can't turn back time, so it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, do you have brothers and sisters that were kind of followed in your footsteps or no?
No, my whole family is some scientists, my brothers and sister. My sister is a doctor, my brother is an informatiker, and my parents are working in agriculture. So definitely sports is
Your
not the
own.
first choice.
That's
Yeah, I'm the
that's all
only one,
yours.
the black sheep in the family who not
How
fit
real,
in.
is it really the black sheep or they'd go, wow. I mean, you've been in the Olympics, all the kind of stuff. I mean, is it really no? Or is it just they go, why didn't you
My
go back there?
parents, nah, my parents wasn't happy about sports, so they forbid me to do it. So I even wanted
Really?
more, and yeah,
Wow.
we had some falling out about it, but
So
this
they
is
did
my
not
way.
they did not support your sports.
No,
But
no.
I'm sure they've changed their minds now. I'm sure they're like very, very proud of you.
I think they're giving up.
Is that what it is? Well, you've
Yeah,
won. You've won either way, so you've conquered. I love it. I love it. Well, good
yeah.
for you. I mean, yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
well. Here we go. What is this?
Yes.
This looks interesting.
So this is on our kids course, which we're building right now. It was the first training with the local kids, and I was explaining about the streams in eddy and where they have to paddle. They looked me with the bumpy eyes, they're like scared, but it was
Oh.
fun, first training, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. Well, hey, listen, we're going to sit tight. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back right after a few messages here and we'll look at the rest of these photos. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground View's virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground View's virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
Campmore in Paramus is open, and we're fully stocked with everything you need for your next outdoor adventure. Stop in for safe in-store shopping or buy online with curbside pickup. Check campmore.com for our latest hours. Camp More, for over 40 years, your outdoor recreation store.
Duluth Pack is handcrafted for every lifestyle, making memories since 1882. In store at 365 Canal Park Drive or online at duluthpack.com.
We're one big family, a community of paddlers, and we want to make sure that everyone has a great time out on the water.
We are made right here in Sparta, Tennessee, USA.
This is where every Jackson kayak is born, built by hand with a focus on innovation.
We are Jackson Kayak.
We are
Jackson Kayak.
We're Jackson Kayak.
We are Jackson Kayak.
Embrace simple pleasures, nature's music, the vision and aroma of your victuals simmering over a wood fire. We invite you to kindle your flame in a Littlebug stove. Visit us at littlebug.com. See why Littlebug is the top-rated stick stove and save 15% with discount code CAMPING15.
Introducing the Wander, a first-of-its-kind, durable, 5-in-1 patented outdoor recreational product that easily transforms from a camping cot or bench, fully reclinable lounger, a lower beach-type chair, a higher field camping chair, to a cart that hauls all your stuff. Our customers have raved about the Wander's durability and compactness when camping. Experience the innovative Wander for yourself and shop at omegear.com.
A few years ago, someone asked Rutabaga's owner, Darren Bush, "Hey, how long have you guys been selling boats?" Darren replied, "We don't sell boats. We sell time on the water." Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com.
I love camping, but hate setting up and packing. Sound familiar? With the SansBug pop-up tent, you simply toss it in the air. Bug-free in 1 second. Cliff Jacobson, America's most published wilderness expert, has this to say. At well under $100, these tents are a bargain. They are not toys. With a well-designed tarp, they should withstand a long, heavy rain. I'm impressed by the full-coverage fly. It stakes right into the ground. No short cap fly for the wind to get under. In all, I think you have an excellent product here, even though it's one designed for casual camping. Namely, the kind of camping most people and scouts do. The SansBug has been used by the U.S. and Canadian military, disaster response volunteers in Haiti, ecologists in Madagascar, and doctors in the Amazon. SansBug, the quickest tent you've ever pitched. Find us on sansbug.com.
There's nothing like being out there. For over 50 years, we've been connecting people with nature by building classic Canadian canoe designs using the best materials available. We built a reputation on durable, dependable canoes that allow you to focus on what's important, whether that's unplugging in remote wilderness, spending quality time with your favorite people, or nailing the perfect line. Visit novacraft.com to find the perfect canoe for you and locate your nearest authorized dealer.
And we're back with our guest, Sara, here. And let's pick up where we left off with our photos. So let me see if I can get back there. Okay, here we go. Ready? Yeah, all right. What are we looking at here?
This is a picture from our first competition. This was the first Hungarian slalom race which was ever organized. Okay. And this is my team. So our color is the red, and they were super happy that Very they cool. Kind of won everything. and this is on the podium. I was super happy to take
Very
that
cool.
gold.
And say that again. We cut out here in the first part of that first when you were talking. What is this medal? This is
the Mad River race
Okay.
in China, and this was in December, and I was happy to standing on the podium with these girls. They are both world champions, so I was super stoked.
But that's a first place medal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. All right. Okay. What is this? This is interesting. What is this? What happened here?
So this little guy capsized. He did not know how to do the Eskimo roll yet, so he had to swim, and mostly being terrified. It was his first time in white water.
Oh, wow.
And that's why he's like grabbing my boat and trying to hang out. But it's not a hard river. There's no rocks. There's nothing biggy there. Just yeah.
When that happens, do they go through a period of like that being terrified, and then they're a little gun shy next time they're back in the water? Does that happen?
Yeah, of course. First time they swim, it's always a little bit shocking, and some of them crying. They super small, so sometimes I just grab their life jacket and hold them tight until they calm down, and then I tell them, okay, look around now because there's nothing dangerous. I'm here next to you. And then they come out and, okay, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, okay, now swim.
That's so cool. So it isn't like something that takes weeks or even, for them to go, okay, I'm okay again, to get back in the water. Nothing like that.
There are ups and downs. They're sometimes getting better and like, now I can do everything. And then they have a swim again and they're like, no, I'm not going again to the waves. And I'm like, okay, just follow me. So there are, improvement and then a little bit setback and an improvement. So it's not really just a constant thing.
Yeah. Here we go. Mad River race.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it was actually the classic, so long distance race on that river. You can see also here the waves are not too small. It was 18 kilometers of paddling with a mass start, so everybody started together. I had a pretty good start, but these boats were super heavy.
Oh, wow.
It was really long race, yeah.
Really?
Now,
okay, these are plastic boats then, right?
Yes, they are, but I think they are like 30 kg, so way heavier than the racing ones.
Yeah, that is, and how long are these boats? Because I mean, they look very short, like a playboat would be here.
Yeah, they're not as short as playboats, but they are creek boats, so made for bigger rivers. They have big volume, and they are about 2.5, 2.8 meter long, depend on the company.
Yeah, and there is nothing like a skeg in the back that would. With these boats, you don't use anything like that. Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
No. Yeah. I think we would break it with the first rock underneath.
I would think. Well, and the ones that I have paddled have like the spring-loaded thing where they go up in the air. But if you're turning, they'll snap them right off. Do you ever in these races like this? Now, I actually did a race once and I won. If you can believe that or not, it was a kayak race.
Oh, congrats! Nice.
Yeah, and thank you. And I don't think I can do it again, but I did. That was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. But when you are paddling next to people, do you ever clash paddles? Do you ever smack into their boat?
Yeah, definitely. Also on the face, so
I did
some bleeding going on.
Yeah, I did too. I wonder if that was just me and my careless. But yeah, I'm thinking I could. Yeah, it's pretty easy to do. All right, here we go. What's happening here? This is cool.
Yes, this was the Downriver World Championship last year in Sabero in Spain, and this was the talent program which I participated. So many athletes from a small nation who don't have possibilities to train alone or going to training camps or need a coach such as. And then this was on the opening ceremony. So we had these nice, cute plates to show our nations, and pretty much
cool.
that's it.
7 countries, it looks like there, right? Oh, no, 8. What is it? 7, 8 countries, right?
Yeah, and I think on the left side they just missed there. Do you see the small American flag behind? He was one of the coaches.
You know what? I see the Canada guy's got it way up in the air.
Yes, of course.
And he's got to be the
Next to
oddball
him,
there.
there's the American flag.
But it is. Oh, okay. Because I'm not seeing that. Yeah.
Yes,
That's cool. So there's 9 countries. That's pretty cool. That's very cool. Very impressive. Dear, this is kind of funny. But everybody does not speak. Is there one common language that everybody you can count on speaking, or are there times where you're like, okay, Mr. I don't know, Brazil, all she speaks is Portuguese. Do you ever run into that or no?
Yeah, it happened. So we're trying to communicate as much as we can and speak English. But this guy actually didn't speak at all.
They have translators.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sure
Brazilian guy, he was only speaking Portuguese, but the lady was, and she tried to translate for him. And they try to select coaches that if they know that some of the nations struggling, that they have some Spanish coach maybe who could understand them or such as. So they're trying to work it out, but definitely if you don't speak English, it can be challenging to understand the training and what's going on.
Yeah, I totally wondered that. I'm thinking, does everybody just commonly know a language? Like, I don't know, English, I guess, but it's interesting. So, all right, here we go. The Canoe.
Big boat.
Yeah.
Yes. This is also Sabero. This was the World Championship, and this is the bottom of the course. The waves are getting bigger, and they give you a bit of flying feeling. So it's nice one.
Well, you know what? I mean, and I'm sure you probably prefer the smaller boats over the bigger ones. Am I right?
Yeah, they're turning easier, but these ones are quite fast. So I measured 27 kilometers per hour down the river, so they can go quite fast.
Wow.
But it's hard to turn, so if you mess it up, you're gonna go hit a rock.
Wow. And how much do these boats weigh, if I can ask that?
They are 10 kilos, so just a little bit more than the slalom.
Okay. That's still pretty light, and I'm sure they're Kevlar, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. Interesting. All right. Last one here. Here we go. And those are the rocks that you don't want to hit. Am I right?
Yes. Yes. Actually, I was cutting the corner once a lot, and I just fly over on the top of the rock.
Oh, really? Really? And did you just sit there and stay there and teeter back and forth on the rock, or what?
No, actually, I was landing quite nicely, so I was okay. I didn't turn upside down, but my boat got a big scratch.
I was just going to say that doesn't do those boats, those Kevlar boats, any favors, does it?
Nah, it wasn't nice.
I love it. All right. Well, here's a quick question for you. Let's see, what do we do here? Let me get us back on the stage. Okay, there we go. So let's see here. Okay, if someone were interested in, like yourself, you were interested in learning about slalom kayaking, where would you recommend people go in to learn more about it, or where they can learn about it? What is there somewhere in there, or what?
There's a lot of nice rivers, actually. Like in the USA, there's Idaho, where you can go kayaking and rafting and learn the basics. But you also have Olympic course in Oklahoma or Montgomery.
Oh, really?
As well as, they have the selection in Oklahoma and this weekend. So the USA team will be selected for the year. And they also have in Brazil, perhaps there was the Rio Olympics, and there's so many lovely rivers, perhaps in Slovenia or Norwegian or Australia have an Olympic course. So there's a lot of places if you want to try it out, or even if you just want to go rafting, that feel the adrenaline, but you don't want to drive the boat, then it's a good option just to try out and feel the waves in your face, but being in a safer environment if you're not that extreme.
Right. Now, have you been? How many countries have you been in? And I should say, competed in. Been competing. Each of the countries that were represented up there. Was it 9 countries? Have you been?
Nah, I would rather count those which I did not.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I wasn't in the USA yet.
Okay.
But other continent I have been racing all over. Of course, Europe have the most of the competitions.
Sure.
But I was racing in Australia as well. I was in South Africa and Asia, China, Russia.
Now you in Canada? No.
No,
Brazil?
sorry.
Not Brazil either.
Neither. Yeah, I should go there maybe.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brazil is beautiful. I've been there a couple times.
I really would enjoy. They have some nice big rivers in Chile and Argentina. So maybe next challenge.
Hey, that sounds like a plan, man. Wow. I mean, that's pretty cool. You've done quite a lot in 32 years. You have accomplished quite a bit, I would say. So you got to be very proud.
Thank
very
you.
proud. You bet.
Thank you.
All right. And let's see here. Last question. Where can people connect with you online, Sara?
I think the easiest on Instagram or Facebook, just type Sara Seprenyi, and I think pretty much you can find me because I'm the only one with this hard family name.
There you go. And this is the Federation website. Why don't you read that out loud so people are just listening to this as a audio podcast will know where to go.
Yes.
Read us that website there. What does that say?
It's kajakcanoesport.hu. It's in Hungarian, but it's mainly based like kayak canoe sports.
Okay, got it.
Basic.
Very good. Well, I tell you what, Sara, thank you for being a guest here on the show. A pleasure having you here. And I know that Maya will be sorry that she missed this because, you're a very talented person and very, very very much a pleasure to interview you. And thanks for staying up with us in Hungary. What time is it in Hungary right now, if I can ask?
It's now 12:13, so quite late.
So yes, we're keeping you up. So listen, we'll let you go. But listen, thanks again for being on the show. And if you're ever in the United States, give us a shout and look us up. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And for now, this is CW Get saying thanks for tuning in to Outdoors People. See you next time.